Ever get that feeling? Scrolling through endless playlists, like a million songs, but nothing really grabs you.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, we're totally drowning in choice, right?
Right.
But kind of starving for something real, you know? And that's what we're diving into today, how the music industry is changing in this digital age. We've got some really interesting excerpts here arguing that we actually have more music at our fingertips than ever, but something's missing.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of a paradox, right?
Right.
I mean, think about it. We can listen to practically anything, anytime.
Exactly. So why does it feel like, I don't know, less?
Definitely. And a big part of what we're going to unpack today is that feeling of digital overload.
Yeah, and our source today doesn't hold back, saying the industry is buckling under pressure, facing a flood of music. Kind of intense, right?
It is, but it's not far off. Think about it used to be that artists needed record deals, you know? Getting on the radio, that was everything.
Oh, totally, like the golden ticket.
Exactly. But now, anyone can upload a track, which is amazing for accessibility, obviously.
Absolutely.
But it also creates this onslaught of content.
It's like everyone's shouting to be heard, but no one's really listening.
Yeah, exactly.
And that kind of ties into what the source said about when everything is accessible, nothing feels special.
Oh, I like that.
You know, like too much choice and you end up just closing the app.
It's that paradox of choice, right? Makes perfect sense. And that's where these algorithms come in too, because platforms are using data to curate our listening, which again makes sense on the surface.
Right, like helps you discover new stuff.
Yeah, but it often ends up benefiting the artists who are already at the top.
Right, the ones who already get millions of streams.
Exactly. There was this study that found the top 1% of artists are getting a whopping 90% of streaming revenue.
Whoa, 90%. Seriously?
Yeah, it's a pretty stark statistic.
So what do we do? How do we navigate this? Where do we even go from here?
Well, that's the big question, right?
The source mentioned vibrant musical reefs, whatever that means. Any ideas?
Okay, so think about it like this. Instead of these huge impersonal fan bases, we're starting to see the rise of smaller, more tight-knit communities.
Okay, interesting.
It's becoming less about just, hitting play on a song and more about actual shared passions, shared experiences around the music.
So like finding your people, the ones who just get it.
Yeah, exactly. The source called it cultivating communities, which I think is a really great way to put it.
I like that.
It's artists hosting online listening parties, creating spaces for fans to connect directly, or offering exclusive behind-the-scenes content. It's going beyond just the music itself.
Right, so it's about that deeper engagement, building something more meaningful.
Exactly.
Which I think is so important these days, especially because it's so easy to feel isolated even when we're like constantly connected online.
For sure.
It's interesting you say that because I feel like a lot of the artists I've really connected with lately have been through those more personal avenues, word of mouth, friends, or even just stumbling upon these really niche online communities. There's a different kind of magic to that discovery.
I agree. There's something more genuine about it.
Totally.
And that's what's so fascinating about how the music industry is adapting. It would have been easy to just get swept away by this digital wave, but it's finding ways to be resilient.
I love that. Not just surviving, but actually thriving in this new landscape.
Exactly.
Like the uncertainty is almost fueling this wave of creativity and connection.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's a good reminder that as listeners, we don't have to just passively consume, We can be part of these communities, these conversations.
You're right. Be active participants in the music we love.
Exactly. So where do you find yourself connecting with music these days? What are those spaces between the notes, where you're finding your people?
That's such a good question where passion for music comes alive. Something to think about.